Have you ever stopped to think that something as simple as getting up from your chair could be signaling a silent change inside your body? Imagine that. Right now, your muscles might be trying to send you a message, and you haven't even noticed. What if the small struggles in your daily routine are quietly revealing more than you realize? If you're in the golden years of life, or if you care for someone who is, you know how every detail matters. Each day brings new challenges, and every effort counts double. This space is for you, for those who want to age with dignity, and for families who want to protect and understand their loved ones. There's no criticism here, just genuine care and a desire to help. Today, I want to show you how some of the most common things in your day-to-day could be powerful clues about what's really happening beneath the surface. You'll discover that, with the right attention, you can spot changes that even a routine checkup might miss. It's not about fear, but about giving you real tools to take charge of your own well-being, starting now. Take a moment, leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. It's amazing to see how many people are walking this path together all over the world. And listen closely, because the very first hint might be in something you do every single day without a second thought. How you hold a cup. Have you ever noticed how you pick up a mug of coffee or a glass of water? That simple motion, steady or shaky, light or heavy, carries hidden meaning. When hands feel less certain or fingers fumble with a favorite cup, it's more than just a fleeting slip. It's your body quietly hinting that your grip strength and muscle control aren't what they once were. Professionals often watch for these tiny hesitations because they can be the very first sign that muscles in the hands and forearms are losing their edge, long before anyone talks openly about weakness or frailty. Let's meet two friends, Maria and Jorge. Maria, at 78, noticed one morning that her teacup felt heavier, her fingers slow to wrap around the handle. Instead of brushing off, she paused, practiced holding different cups, and even made a game of stacking light objects while chatting with her granddaughter. She smiled, her confidence returning with every small success. Jorge, 81, ignored the same feeling. A faint shake as he reached for his mug, a drop spoon during lunch. Frustration crept in, and soon he found himself avoiding social meals, embarrassed by little spills and clumsy moments. Folding his shirt became a chore. Even buttoning felt like a battle. What happens if these signs are left unnoticed? Over time, ignoring those gentle warnings may lead to more than just dropping things. The hands grow tired faster, making simple joys like gardening, writing a letter, or dressing without help feel out of reach. The world can shrink a little as independence slips away bit by bit. But there's hope in small acts. Keep a softball by your chair and squeeze it during your favorite show. Try picking up coins or sorting buttons while you listen to music. Use clothespins to build gentle strength, turning daily moments into quiet victories. And while your hands speak quietly, there are other signs, sometimes felt deeper, sometimes hidden in how you move or rest, that may be whispering their own stories. Moments of subtle withdrawal. Sometimes the earliest signs of change aren't in our hands or muscles, but in quieter, more private places, like forgetting to call a friend back, losing the thread of a familiar story, or simply choosing silence over conversation. These moments of subtle withdrawal often slip by unnoticed, brushed off with a laugh or a shrug. But beneath the surface, they can signal deeper shifts in how we process the world and connect to the people we care about. Why does this matter? Because these small hesitations, pausing before joining a group, feeling overwhelmed when juggling simple tasks, or letting appointments slide, are often our mind's way of asking for help. It's easy to dismiss them as just a bad day or getting older, but over time, these patterns can quietly chip away at our confidence and sense of belonging. Let's imagine two friends, Donato, 71, and Mrs. Elsa, 79. Donato has started to notice that he sometimes forgets where he left his keys or repeats a question he's already asked. Instead of hiding these slips, he gently acknowledges them, jotting reminders in a small notebook and turning each moment into a chance for self-kindness. He even laughs with his grandchildren when he needs a little help. Mrs. Elsa, on the other hand, feels a sting of embarrassment when she forgets a neighbor's name or loses track during conversation. Rather than share her worries, she begins to avoid the morning coffee circle, preferring the quiet of her garden. Day by day, she feels the world growing a little smaller, her confidence slipping away, the isolation deepening. Ignoring these signs doesn't cause a sudden crisis, but over months, it can lead to a gentle erosion of joy and engagement. The mind grows wary, small mistakes feel heavier, and the warmth of connection fades into the background. But there are gentle ways to turn this tide. Practicing daily memory games, keeping a visible list of appointments, or reading aloud can offer both stimulation and reassurance. Even a simple whiteboard by the door can serve as a daily anchor. Yet sometimes, the real struggle lies deeper still, waiting quietly in the body, not the mind. What happens when even rest doesn't restore your energy? Let's explore that next. A sign that often goes unnoticed is this: when rest no longer restores. It's not just feeling tired, it's waking up with the same heaviness you carried to bed. Imagine closing your eyes for hours, but rising as if you hadn't slept at all. This quiet exhaustion hides behind daily habits. Easy to excuse as just getting older, but sometimes it means your body isn't recovering the way it needs. Maybe your muscles aren't repairing overnight, or your energy simply doesn't refill like it used to. You slept, but you didn't recharge. Over time, this invisible drain can wear away at motivation, turning simple routines into mountains. Let me introduce you to two friends, Vera and Paolo, both in their late 70s. Vera guards her sleep. She dims the lights, settles into quiet before bed, and keeps a gentle rhythm to her evenings. Mornings find her alert, present, ready to greet the day with a smile. Paolo, though, lets his nights spill into chaos. He naps whenever, keeps the TV glowing into the early hours, and wakes up groggy, already irritated. For Vera, days feel clear and connected. For Paolo, there's a fog, a sense of being apart from his own life. The difference isn't in age, it's in how they treat their rest. Left unnoticed, this kind of tiredness can quietly drain more than just your energy. Your body's defenses may weaken, making you more vulnerable to little illnesses. Muscles don't heal as well, small aches linger, and even your mood can slip, bringing frustration or sadness that feels hard to shake. But what if you caught it sooner? What if you treated rest as something precious? Even small changes can make a gentle difference. Try setting a regular bedtime, letting your evenings wind down without screens or noise. A soft lamp, a calm conversation, even a short stroll in the morning light can help reset your body's rhythms. These aren't big demands, just small, caring choices. As you listen, hold this quiet question. If rest can change so much, what else might you notice in your daily life? Next, we'll look at another subtle sign, one that often shows itself in the way your appetite shifts and how that, too, can whisper about your body's needs. Missing the warmth at the table sometimes, the most telling sign is when eating loses its meaning. Meals that once brought comfort or memories now feel like tasks to get through. The plate sits there, untouched a little longer, or maybe the same plain toast appears at breakfast, day after day. It's easy to think, I'm just not hungry, or I'll eat later, but when the joy of eating fades, it can signal more than just a passing mood. When appetite quietly slips away, the body starts to run on empty, muscles don't get the protein and strength they need, and energy begins to fade. Food is more than nutrition. It's routine, it's tradition, and it's a reason to pause and enjoy life. Sometimes losing interest in meals is a whisper from within, saying something deeper needs attention. Think of Donna Lucia, 78, who makes a simple lunch each day. She sits by the window, savoring her food, sometimes inviting a neighbor for coffee. Even on quiet days, she takes a moment to appreciate the colors on her plate. Across the street, SCU Antonio, 81, used to love cooking, but now he barely notices lunchtime. He picks at crackers, reheats old leftovers, and the kitchen feels colder somehow. His energy dips, making the afternoons feel longer and lonelier. When meals become an afterthought, the body slowly weakens, fatigue lingers, illness finds a way in, and emotions flatten out. Sometimes, when the plate stays full, the body begins to empty, slowly and silently. But there are gentle ways to bring back nourishment. Try sitting down to eat at the same time each day, even if it's a small snack. Add a splash of color, a slice of fruit, a handful of greens. Drink water between bites, or share a simple meal with a friend or family member. Each small step helps the body and soul remember the comfort of being cared for. Still, even with a nourishing meal, something else might be missing, something that goes deeper than food. Often, what we hunger for most is a sense of closeness that can't be served on a plate. Days without real conversation, there's a sign that often hides in plain sight. Going days, or even weeks, without a genuine conversation. Not just the quick exchanges about the weather or what's for dinner, but the kind of talk where you feel seen and heard. When real connection fades, it's not just the heart that aches. Your whole body can start to feel the weight of silence. The mind grows foggy, movement loses its purpose, and even the immune system seems to slow, as if waiting for a reason to spark back to life. Isolation isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet that changes everything. When no one checks in, even aches and pains can go unnoticed, and laughter becomes something remembered instead of lived. Take Mrs. Helena, who makes it a point to call her sister every Sunday. She shares a laugh with her neighbor during morning walks, and sometimes invites someone over for a cup of coffee, just to chat about the day. Her eyes light up after these moments, and she moves with a certain ease, her memory sharp, her mood lighter. Then there's Mr. Paolo, who gradually stopped picking up the phone. He leaves the TV on all day just to hear voices, but mostly sits alone, reading in silence or eating at the kitchen table with only his thoughts for company. Over time, he's become quieter, less interested in his favorite pastimes, and even seems more tired, as if each day is just something to get through. Ignoring this sign can slowly dim the light inside. The mood shifts, the mind wanders, and the body feels heavier. It's not just about being alone. It's about what begins to fade when no one is there to notice the small changes, to ask how you're really doing, or to remind you that you matter. But it doesn't have to be a grand gesture. You might start by calling a loved one, even just once a week. Maybe send a message to an old friend, say hello to a neighbor, or join a local group or an online chat. Small steps can quietly bring warmth back into the day. And sometimes, it's the simplest moments of connection that make all the difference. But what happens when the body starts sending signals before the heart has a chance to speak? The invisible ache of loneliness sometimes. The most telling sign is not found in the mirror, but in the empty spaces of our days. It's the quiet ache that settles in when laughter fades from the kitchen, or when the phone sits silent, untouched. The absence of companionship, of someone to share a simple story or a cup of coffee, can weigh as much as any physical symptom. Human beings are wired for connection. When bonds loosen or disappear, the body senses it. Days without real conversations or gentle touches slowly chip away at our health. Without someone to ask how we're feeling or to remind us of a cherished memory, we become more vulnerable, not just emotionally, but physically too. Loneliness quietly raises stress hormones, weakens our immune defenses, and makes it harder to find the energy to get up in the morning. Even the mind, once sharp and hopeful, can become clouded and forgetful. Imagine Mrs. Teresa, who calls her sister every evening, shares a joke with her neighbor, and feels her spirits lift after each exchange. Her days have a gentle rhythm, colored by connection and laughter. Now think of Mr. Joao, who sits alone at lunch, scrolling through memories on his phone, hearing only the echo of his own footsteps in the hallway. With each day that passes in silence, he feels more tired, less motivated, and struggles to remember small things. The difference is not just in their routines, but in their vitality. If we ignore these emotional gaps, the risks grow: depression, loss of motivation, memory slips, and even a body that starts to give up. But this happens to many, and it can be changed. A simple message to an old friend, joining a community group, or setting aside 5 minutes for a weekly call can reignite that spark of connection. Sometimes, just knowing someone is there makes all the difference. And when gentle words and warm company return to your life, you'll notice your energy, your appetite, even your memory begin to brighten. But what about when the signals of imbalance start to show up in your movements, in your steps? Let's look at what your body might be trying to tell you next. The unsteady step, when balance sends a subtle warning, a stumble here, another there. But what if it's not just a distraction? Maybe you notice your foot catching on the carpet more often, or an odd hesitation before stepping off a curb. These are the quiet signals your body sends when strength, coordination, or reflexes begin to fade. It's easy to brush them off. Everyone trips sometimes, right? But these minor slips and moments of unsteadiness can be the first signs that your muscles aren't responding like before, or that your sense of balance is starting to slip away. Often, these warnings go unnoticed until a real fall happens, bringing pain, fear, and sometimes even a hospital stay. The body whispers before it shouts, and this is one of its earliest calls for attention. Let's meet Donna Irene and SCU Marcos. Donna Irene noticed she was gripping the handrail more tightly when climbing stairs, and once she almost fell getting out of bed at night. She felt embarrassed, but instead of ignoring it, she looked for advice and started doing simple balance exercises in her room, standing on one foot while holding onto a chair and walking in a straight line. Gradually, her confidence returned. SCU Marcos, on the other hand, laughed off his slips, blaming them on loose shoes or uneven sidewalks. He didn't want to worry his family. But one morning, he slipped in the bathroom and fractured his wrist. Now, he feels anxious, avoids going out, and depends on others for help. Ignoring these small signs may seem harmless, but the risks are real. Serious fractures, loss of independence, and the fear of leaving home can grow from just one fall. Prevention is freedom. Training your balance, even for 5 minutes a day, can save you months of recovery and protect your autonomy. Simple habits like practicing stability exercises with support make a world of difference. But not all risks are at our feet. Sometimes the next warning hides deep inside, felt but hard to name. What if your heart is holding on to a silence even your body can't reveal? The unspoken weight we carry sometimes. What truly burdens us isn't visible to anyone else. It's the old stories we never told, the apologies we never gave, the disappointments we keep quietly folded inside. These silent companions, regrets, unexpressed grief, hidden sorrows, settle somewhere deep in the body, like stones in the pockets of our soul. The heart remembers every word left unsaid, every feeling tucked away for later. And with time, the body, too, begins to carry the load. When we hold onto emotional pain, resentment, guilt, or the ache of unresolved memories, our nervous system is always on alert. Sleep becomes restless. The appetite fades or turns into cravings for comfort. Muscles tense, fatigue sets in, and day by day, life feels heavier without any clear reason. It's not about blame or weakness. It's about recognizing that the body ages faster when the soul is weighed down by what could already have been released. Imagine two lives unfolding. In one, someone has spent years swallowing their tears, avoiding difficult conversations, or pretending that old wounds no longer hurt. They find themselves more irritable, quick to tire, sometimes waking in the night with racing thoughts. Their smile fades, their world grows small. In another life, someone quietly faces what hurts. They write in a journal, even if no one will read it. They whisper a prayer, or call a friend, or simply sit and allow the feelings to move through. Over time, their chest feels lighter, their step grows surer, and inner peace seeps gently back in. Leaving these silent pains unexamined can lead to emotional isolation, a fading of joy, and even physical symptoms that doctors struggle to explain. A locked heart can make it hard for the body to breathe fully, for new energy to find its way in. But the smallest gesture, a letter never sent, a moment of forgiveness whispered in silence, the courage to speak a truth, can begin to ease the burden. Letting go isn't for others. It's the gentlest gift we grant ourselves. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past. It only frees us from carrying it forever. And as you listen to these words, ask yourself, what if, by lightening your heart, you could also open the door to a new sense of purpose and belonging? There's one more step, and perhaps it's the most important of all. Today, you've had the chance to look inside, not just with your eyes, but with your heart. Throughout our journey together, we explored subtle signs that often go unnoticed. Trembling hands, forgotten words, a slower step, or even a quiet sadness. None of these are diagnoses. Instead, they are gentle invitations to care, to pay attention, and to embrace awareness. Every small detail, from the way your body moves to the silence you keep inside, holds the potential to reveal new paths toward a longer, more vibrant life. Now, I invite you to turn this reflection inward. Notice your rhythm. How do you feel when you wake up? What lingers on your mind throughout the day? How do your meals, your walks, and your conversations feel? Are you nourishing your body and your spirit, or letting the days pass on autopilot? Change doesn't have to be overwhelming. In fact, it starts with a single, intentional gesture, a mindful walk, a healthy meal, a heartfelt conversation, or even a moment of quiet where you truly listen to yourself. Each small step is a door opening toward renewal and possibility. Thank you for sharing your time and attention with us today. Choosing to care for yourself or for someone you love is an act of courage and wisdom. I honor your presence here and the trust you've placed in this journey. It's never easy to face what needs care, but your willingness already sets you apart. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Every video here is an invitation to remember your worth, to care for your well-being, and to keep learning how to live with more presence and joy. By subscribing, you ensure that support, knowledge, and inspiration are always within reach, helping you stay connected to yourself and those you love. Remember, it's not the years that diminish us, but our silence in the face of what our bodies and hearts try to say. Listen to the signs. Respond with care. There's still time to build a future full of meaning, vitality, and belonging. The choice and the hope begin with you.